All right, good morning, everyone. First off, the joke of the day. You all missed it, but this is what Miss Judy said this morning. What did the tree say to the wind? What did the tree say to the wind?
Window.
Leave me alone. Okay. All right, I heard people laughing this morning. And before we get any further, also this, look, because we were gone, we're gonna have like some test pile up here. So there's going to be a lot of tests next week. So I would be studying now, you know, the chapter checkup questions, and I know you're gonna have a break. So that's why hopefully this weekend you did some of the videos and stuff and work. Today and tomorrow, work really hard, okay? Because next week, there were things we would have done that we didn't get to do as far as tests and stuff go. So I already got it made that you can see that Bible verse test will be when we come back over Isaiah 53. So know all those words. You should already know those anyway, right? Language, there's going to be a language test. There's going to be a history test. There's going to be a science test. Not all on the same day, but like that, we'll like review for language, we'll review for science. And then the next days, there's going to be a test on those. Then we'll keep reviewing, and the next day after that, there'll be a history test, right? And your spelling test. So just keep that in mind. Be studying now. And if you studied 5 minutes every day, even if it was just 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or it would be a lot easier than trying to cram. So please don't just cram, okay? We got someone else coming. All right, the first thing we're gonna do is math. Math. Last time, can you see this? Can you see the board, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna point. Last time we reviewed fractions, proper and improper, and we circled the proper fractions, right? Everybody can see. So in the fraction 1/4, that is proper, isn't it? Because the denominator is larger than the numerator. In this next one we circled as well, because 3/4, the denominator is larger than the numerator, correct? But 4/4, they're the same. They always equal 1, but it is still considered improper. The proper way to write it would just be to write a 1. 7/4 was improper because we cannot have a denominator that's smaller than the numerator. We call it improper. Well, today we take it to the next level. All right, are you ready? You see this fraction bar line? Raise your hand if you can see it. Can you see it? Okay. You can see it. Now, here's the fraction bar line. We could say 32 divided by 4, written this way. Or we could say 32 divided by 4. That's the same thing, isn't it? Just written differently with our division box. But there's a third way you can write it. You can also write it 32 over 34. And see this fraction bar line? That means division, to solve an improper fraction. And as you get older into 5th grade and 6th grade and on into middle school, this will be very important to know. So learn it now, okay? Learn it now. We simply, to make an improper fraction proper, we divide the denominator, which is smaller, isn't it? So it can divide into the numerator because it's improper. So we could simply go 4 into 32 equals what? Someone raise a hand and tell me. Gracie? Unmute yourself.
8.
8. This is the same as 8, isn't it? So I'm going to erase this. I was just showing you that. That would just equal 8. You see that? Here's another one. 100 over 5. That is very improper, isn't it? Because 5 is smaller than 100. So divide the denominator into the numerator. And what will the answer be? Can anyone do that one? Can you do that one? Madison? What is it? Do you know? Someone else? No? I thought you were raising your hand. Well, everybody look here. You can also do this. Right? Can't you? And just work it out if you don't know. 5 goes into 10. Right? Bring down, is it still on the camera? Bring down. 5 goes into 0, 0 times. What is the answer? What is the answer? Someone else, Mokes, what's the answer?
20.
20 is correct. Remember the other day when I said, how many $20 bills makes $100? Who remembers the answer, Mokes? What is it?
5.
It's 5, isn't it? So that makes sense that 5 would go into 120 times, or 20 would go into 105 times. Here we go. Here's another one. 10 over 2. What's the answer? What's the answer? I need someone else. Natalie, what's the answer? 10 over 2 is improper. Let's make it proper by dividing.
5.
Very good. 2 goes into 10 5 times. The answer is 5. Now look very carefully to the next one, everyone, because guess what? This one's a little different, isn't it? We're going to divide our denominator into our numerator, but you're going to see very quickly that it doesn't go even, does it? So we go like this. Are you ready? We know that 2 will go into 11 5 times because it's just like this one. It goes into 10, doesn't it? Is everybody watching me? 5. 2 goes into 11 5 times. But how much would be left over to make 11? Put up the fingers that would be left over. I'll give you a clue. Does anyone know? Yes. 1 would be left over to make, doesn't 2 go into 10 5 times? 1 more will make 11. So our leftover remainder, we write as a fraction. You remember how to do that, don't you? We write 1 as the numerator, and our denominator stays the same, right? 5 1/2 is our answer. Now you could also do it like this. Eventually you're going to get better at it and you can just do that here. Oh, that's 5 1/2. But at the beginning, if you need to, just put your 11 inside the division box, put your 2 outside the division box and go 2 goes into 11 5 times. 5 times 2 equals 10. With 1 left over, write the remainder as a fraction. I put my remainder up here on the top of my fraction with the bar line, and I put my divisor at the bottom. Isn't that the same? Raise your hand if you understand. Understand? Raise your hand if you don't understand. Anyone don't understand? All right. And those of you that are watching this later, you can replay this if you didn't understand, or send me a message. Okay, that is the math lesson for today, you know, And you're going to do lesson 67. Raise your hand if you did lesson 66. And if you didn't do lesson 66, something happened. Again, you'll need to do 66 and 67 tomorrow. We won't have an actual lesson. So tomorrow's like catch-up day in case there's something you didn't get done. If you get everything done before tomorrow, then you have everything done and you can not worry about it. Maybe you want to just study for upcoming tests, right? For that science test that's going, or that history that will come up. You can just do that. And then you can take your break for those days. And maybe a day before you come back to school, review, right? Before you come back to school the next week, because you might forget. You might forget some things, huh? So I know it's hard. Language. We're going to shift to language now. Raise your hand if you were able to do this outline in your book on page 100, I believe it was 191, right? And 192. Good job. On page 192, you'll actually write the paragraph. So here's our outline. We did the example, people of the Louisiana Purchase. We put Thomas Jefferson and some subpoints about him. Napoleon is another person you could pick. And then Lewis and Clark. And I don't know, is that all in there? Can you see all that? Okay. And there it is. Then start writing. Indent your paragraph, the first word of the first paragraph, okay? Y'all understand? And do that. So, who is that behind you, Mox? You? I hope everyone's paying attention and not just
Michael Jordan.
Yes, not just playing with all the fun things there are to do on here. And we aren't all, no one's texting, right? Yes. Yes, I can see what you've written here. Do you get the math now, Madison? Okay. We went on to language, but I'll tell you what, I'll go back in just a second. Does everyone understand this? Make an outline. Start writing. First part of your paragraph, you're going to talk about Thomas Jefferson if you picked this, or you can do your own, okay? So, and then write it. This is exactly from Friday. I'm just telling you again, okay? What we did on Friday. And keep working on, maybe you did the outline. Now finish the paper part where you're actually writing sentences. Turn these into sentences. And it just takes practice. I know this is the kind of thing that isn't easy at first, you know, thinking that way, but it's good for you. It's good for your brain. It's good for your mind. It's good for you, your writing skills. And I wish I was there to walk right next to you and help you with it. Lewis and Clark, you know, go in your book or go online if your parents let you, and you can find more information about these people to write about, right? And you can write sentences, just don't copy it, but make sure it's your own words, okay? Now, Madison, I'm going to go right back over here one more time. Basically, Madison, divide the denominator into the numerator, right? As long as you know your division facts, like this one, look. The top one, if you were going to write it this way, the top number numerator would be inside the division box. Okay, the bottom number, the denominator, would be outside the division box. Just make the bigger number inside the division box and it will be right. Okay, and then divide. We got 20. Okay, divide 2 into 5. I'm sorry, 2 into 10 goes 5 times, right? Does that make any more sense? Does it make more sense? Sort of. Read it. Maybe play this video again. I'll be sending this to your parents and you can watch it again if you didn't quite get it the first time. And I think after you do it, just start doing some of them on your paper, Maybe it'll sink in if you have your books. I hope everyone has their books. Oops.
I know your YouTube channel. I know your YouTube channel.
Yes, and that's another thing. Why don't you hit a thumbs up on all these videos? And if you'd like to see more content like this, click the button to get all notifications. Get all notifications. Actually, if you do that, you'll already have the video. I won't even have to send it to you. You'll already know if you're subscribed, right? So that might be a good thing to do. It'd be easier, right? Language. Look at page 71. Do you have your language book? This is review for a test next week, okay? A test next week. If you have your book handy, good job. I see some books there. Good job. And if you, some of you excel in language and maybe math's harder for you. And then some of you, math's easy for you, but maybe language isn't as easy. So I'm on page 71 right now. We're just going to do a few together to help review. And if you have a question, raise your hand, okay? On page 71, think A. We may or may not get through the whole thing. If we don't get through this whole page, just do the rest of it on your own, okay? Think A says, the colt and its mother is or are playing in the field. Which one is it? Someone tell me. Natalie? What do you think?
Is.
Now, let me tell you about something that's a common mistake. Nice try. That's a common mistake. You know why? Because we would say the colt is, wouldn't we? We would say the mother is, but there's two of them, aren't there? It says the colt and its mother, what? Say it. Are. Did you say are? Because there's two of them. Now you could also put the word they. Doesn't two make a they? So you could say the colt and the mother are a they, right? So you could put the word they in there. They are, because we wouldn't say they is, would we? Right? Okay. So think about that. They are. The colt and its mother are playing because there's two of them, okay? So if there's two subjects, you do that. So what are you going to underline twice? Are. What are you going to underline once? Colt, mother, okay? Now let's do number 2. It's hard to find some of these verbs if you don't know the subject on this when you're picking verbs like this, but what do you think it's going to be? The young horse is or are running and jumping? Gracie, what is it?
Is.
Is, and what's the subject?
Horse.
Horse. Horse underline 1 time, is underline 2 times. Number 3. Number 3. Emma, why don't you do number 3? The mare watches or watch with patience. You have to unmute yourself for me to hear you.
The mayor watches with patience.
Good job. So watches underline twice and mare underline once. Number 4, who else would like to do one? Caitlin, why don't you do one? Number 4. Number 4. What do you think? What do you think?
Both horses are ready to eat.
Both horses are is correct. Underline are twice and horses once. Good job, because it's plural. Remember, singular is singular, are is plural, isn't it? Number 6. No, number 5, right? Number 5, someone else. Who hasn't, has anyone done one? Nyla, are you still there? You want to help me? Someone help me? Nyla?
Yes.
Number 5, what is the verb going to be? The mare and colt finds or find fresh grass to munch.
Find.
Find, good job. Underline find twice. What is the verb? Or I'm sorry, what is the subject?
Mare and colt.
Good, underline mare once, and then underline colt once, okay? By the way, don't underline the word and if anyone accidentally did that, because that's not actually the subject, it's just a connecting word. Number 6, then the horses join the rest of the herd. Who was going to do this one? Like everyone's doing it. Mokes, back to Mokes. What's that one?
Then the horses join the rest of the herd.
Say the word again. Is it joins or join?
Join.
Yes, join, underline twice. And the subject?
Horses.
Horses, good, underline once. Good job. Section B. For each sentence, write C if the punctuation is correct. And I see someone else waiting here. And we're going to put a few more people in here this meeting, okay, that are joining us now. All right, there we go. All right, good morning.
Good morning.
And we did some math. So listen, you that just joined, go back and watch this video again at the beginning because we did our math already. Now we're doing some language. We're on page 71. We're on page 71 in your language book, and we're on section B, proof B. And it says, we've got Kayam here, we've got Joseph here. Thank you for joining us. Now we completely look like the Brady Bunch. All right, if anyone knows what I'm talking about. Parents, you know what I'm talking about if you're there. Section B. For each sentence, write C if the punctuation is correct in your language book. Write I if the punctuation is incorrect. Use proof for your marks to correct the error. Okay. Number 1, the first modern Olympics began on April 6, 1896 in Athens, Greece. What is this, correct or incorrect? Let's get one of the ones that just joined us. Joseph, do you have your book?
Yes.
All right. Are you on page 71?
No, but I'm gonna flip to it.
Okay, who has page 71? Kayam, you have page 71? Someone have page 71? Okay.
Yes, I have it.
All right. Number 1 in section B. Is that correct or incorrect?
What happened to think A?
We did think A already,
Oh,
but you weren't here yet.
I don't have a pencil.
Okay, someone help me out here. You find a pencil and I'll come back to you, Natalie.
Correct.
Are you looking at B number 1? It's actually not correct, class. So put I in the blank for that one. But I need someone to tell me why. Why isn't it correct? Why isn't it correct? I mean, a lot of it is there. So I can see why you think it's correct, but there's one little thing that makes it incorrect. What is it, Emma? What is it? You have to unmute yourself.
There's no comma after 1896.
Good job. Everyone look at that. no comma after 1896. Remember, when a date is in a sentence, the year needs a comma after the year as well, if it's in a sentence. It does not need a comma if it's not in a sentence, but in a sentence it does. So very good. Number 2. On November 11th, 1918, World War I ended. Is this correct or incorrect, Joseph?
Which one is it? What number on it? Oh, number 2.
That's correct or incorrect?
Incorrect.
What's wrong?
There is a comma after 1918.
It's actually correct.
Oh,
Were you listening just now?
no.
In number one, we had that too, right? After 1896, there's a comma in number 1, right? And that's a common mistake that people don't put it, but we should put it. So actually it's correct because there is a comma after 1918 in number 2. So C, correct. Number 3, in music class, we sang Sweet Bessie from Pike. Correct or incorrect? Kayam, what do you think? No? Or I could call in someone else. If
Correct.
it is correct. 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 Number 4. Is it correct or incorrect? Number 4, correct or incorrect? Caitlin, what do you think? Correct or incorrect?
I know.
What is it?
It is correct.
The Swansons have driven from Toledo, Ohio to Fort Wayne, Indiana. Caitlin, what do you think? Unmute yourself, please. What do you think?
Correct.
So I heard 2 people say correct. Anyone think any differently on that one? Mokes, what do you think?
Incorrect.
That one actually is incorrect. There is a mistake in number 4. Most of it is correct, though. I can see why you might think that, but there's one error that would make it incorrect. What is that error? And put something. What do you think? We have 10 minutes left. Kayam?
They didn't put a comma after Ohio.
Very good. What just happened? I don't know what just happened. Can you see me? Oh dear. Something just happened.
Yes, we can see you.
Can I just not see you? Okay, I must have.
Can you see us?
All right, now I can see you. I must have bumped something, but anyway, you were correct. Ohio, there's a comma after Ohio, so insert a comma after Ohio. You see the city, comma, state, comma. There's also a comma after the state. Everyone see that?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Good. Okay. So that's how that is. And so
Can we do the rest by ourselves?
yes, you know how to do the rest. Section C, you know how to do?
Yes.
Section D, do you know how to underline it 3 times to capitalize it? Insert commas. If you're using direct address, make sure you put a comma. make sure you put a question mark. Make sure your period or question mark is inside the quotation marks. The quotation marks are outside, if that's what they said. If the question mark, for example, is what they said, okay? Everybody understand section D? That's review. That's review, okay?
So we don't do it?
You do it.
Okay.
You do it, but I think you can do it on your own because it's review. All of this is review, actually. I just did a few to help you out, okay?
I got a question, Mr. Doyle.
What's that?
What time did you wake up?
Good question. Look, a little after 6, I woke up this morning, yes.
I woke up earlier than that.
I
Wow,
woke up at 8.
5:44.
wow. Well, yes. All right, math. Those of you that missed math, this was what was new on math. On lesson 67, we talk about another way to divide using a fraction bar line. And it's actually on the board. And so if you missed the beginning of this video, just replay the beginning part or just play the beginning part till you came and you'll know. So for example, 10/2 is improper, isn't it?
Yes.
To
I
make,
got a collar.
to make this proper, all you got to do is divide the denominator into the numerator. Divide 2 into 10. 2 goes into 10 5 times. The answer is 5. You'll see that as your first one in your book, actually. And you'll have the answer to the first one, won't you? And that's practice. In the section at the top of your page on lesson 67, you'll see a 32/4. Divide 4 into 32. It's improper because the 4 is less than 32 and the denominator needs to be larger, right? So divide 4 into 32, it actually will go evenly and you'll have a whole number. What's the answer? We already did it earlier for those of you that were here. 4 goes into 32 how many times? Someone raise their hand and tell me. Caitlin? What is it?
8.
Yes, and it's 8. So you're going to change these to a whole number or a mixed number. Section 1 will just be a whole number for the answer. Section 2, you will have a mixed number. It will go not evenly. You can go into it this many times plus this left over. Write the remainder as a fraction. The denominator will be the denominator in your fraction. The remainder will be the numerator in your fraction. Everybody see? Everybody see? Okay. Any questions? Because that's all I have till the next video that we will do very soon. And we're about to run out of time. Yes.
I have a question. When it was the last Zoom meeting, Joseph was the only student that was there.
Yes. Did you all watch that?
Yes.
Did you like that? That was like a private lesson, wasn't it, Joseph?
Yes, it was.
Actually, I think he learned a lot in that lesson because it was just him.
Well, we were talking about. Oh, you can.
He answered a lot of questions and he got them right.
He did, and I was impressed because he didn't even have his book yet.
Mr. Doyle.
He just remembered
I have to
what I said. What?
What I have in my hand is a special rock that I bought from a rock collection store. And this is it.
Oh, very nice. I actually
And a green one too.
very
I'll have to bring it when we go back. Because right now I have a whole notebook studying about on this.
that would be nice to see. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions? Kayam, is your hand up?
Can you show us a picture of Cuphead and Mugman before this is over?
Here we go. All right, we're about done anyway. That's all I had.
Yes, Cuphead.
Ta-da! It's going to be, oh,
The devil.
no, that's not it. But it's going to be, it's November now, right?
Yes. I got a question, Mr. Doyle.
So that
King
one is
Dice.
November. See,
King
King
Dice.
Dice.
what?
King Dice.
I got a question.
What's your question?
Will you send us that paper where it has all the tests and stuff?
Yes, I can do that. For those that came later, I had shown that at the beginning of tests to be studying for even now, okay? Study now and study tomorrow. Do your math, do your language. In the next video at 10 o'clock, it's in very much time from now, we're going to finish our science and history, and then you're going to study for those. And
Wait, science and history? Like what kind of science?
science, all about water, remember?
Oh,
We're going to finish in the clouds and all that. So that'll be in the next video. And,
about you, Mr. Robert Doyle.
shh. All right. Any other questions before we end our meeting today? Again, math, if you still don't understand the math, watch the video again or send me a message. Ask your parents if they can send me a message, and I will be glad to go over it with you again. If you skip it, first watch the video and maybe it'll sink in the second time you watch it if you don't quite get it. Right, Gracie?
Do we do the back of the review thing on language too?
You'll need to do that one page, okay?
Okay.
Because I want to save the other one for when we come back. And we're going to do the diagramming together.
Okay.
All right, good question. Work on your historical paper and your language paper and your math lesson 67. And if we get cut off, you'll know that our meeting is over. Any other questions? I'll send you another meeting in a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
And that's it. Maybe you can take a few minutes before the next meeting and finish language, finish math. I hope everyone's able to keep up even though we're apart. We'll do the best we can. And again, seriously, send a message if you don't get something.
Well, Madison left early.
Yeah, she did. I noticed that. So